Hi, patrons. Welcome back to the Tarot and Numerology series. And today we're going to be discussing number 5 and how the number 5 relates to tarot. So a little bit about the number 5. The number 5 is a the number of freedom seekers. They love to travel. It's the number of creating change, creating movement, creating something different, breaking up the routine, breaking up the dynamic. It's a very adventurous number. The number 5 kind of has like a Sagittarius kind of vibe to it because of its love of travel, love of adventure, love of seeking knowledge, love of finding new things, love of, breaking the norm. On the other end, sometimes the 5 can represent chaos, disruption, which is sometimes needed depending on the context of things, drama, things of that nature. So, and it can be very helpful in the number in tarot because of the fact that the 5 cards in tarot can be a lot. And we're going to go over them now. All right. So leading the pack on the major arcana card that signifies the number 5 is the Hierophant. The Hierophant, and the irony of this card is the Hierophant is all about authority, institutions, kind of maintaining tradition, right? Connecting to a higher power, connecting to the universe or God or whoever you believe in, kind of finding a conduit to do so. In its downward polarity, it can represent how the institutions are trying to keep the status quo or trying to oppress people or uphold a standard that is, problematic in some ways. Or it can also represent studying, going back to school, learning a new trade that is going to significantly change your life in some way, kind of like learning and acquiring knowledge and wisdom. So it's interesting that it's the, number 5, because the number 5 or a lot of people with life path number 5 or significant 5s on their life path chart are here to kind of break away from that tradition, and they might ride the wave of tradition and, dancing to the beat of their own drum. And yeah, the Hierophant is interesting too because it's Taurus. It represents the sign of Taurus as well. So it's a very grounded, earthly kind of energy. And it's like, kind of connecting the heavens and earth together in some sort of way. So we're going to start with the 5 of Pentacles. The 5 of Pentacles, which is like the broke card in tarot for a lot of the time, and the 4 of Pentacles as well. So this could signify this loss of money, resources. As you can see, these people are outside of the church. And it's like, could they go inside? Like, is it, what's going on? It's kind of like the story, but they're walking past this warm place. And you see here with the 5 of Pentacles, there's this anchor here. There's this anchor, like this need of support and like anchoring down that's happening. So it could be, a loss of resources financially, a loss of housing, things of that nature. It could be, I've also found that a 5 of Pentacles can kind of like on an emotional level talk about abandonment issues, emotional abandonment, or dealing with feeling like you're left out, like no one cares, that sort of thing, or feeling like you've been literally left out in the cold emotionally. So it could deal with that, or not feeling valued, not feeling heard, not feeling seen, not feeling supported. So we have that number 5 that's representing like this lack of stability, and this kind of like, even though like you don't know where you're going, and it's not necessarily a good thing. So yeah, it's not, it doesn't feel like generative at all. So yeah, when you see the number 5 here, you can say something's a little off here in terms of resources, in terms of feeling like that you belong, in terms of having what you need emotionally, financially, physically, things of that nature. Next, we get the 5 of Swords. The 5 of Swords. When I tell you mind games, mind games, mind games, So Swords, it kind of really depends. So it's a messy card. It's a messy card. It's wahala, as that in Nigeria, wahala, like, it's the Nigerian word for like chaos, drama. So this could, if you're dealing with, when you're talking about yourself, you might be having self-defeating thoughts or words coming in due to some circumstances. You might be talking yourself out of trying something new or doing something like, you can't do that. Who the hell do you think you are? Right. And so that negative part of the mind right here might be winning, and the other parts of your mind they might have their feelings hurt. Right. So you see somebody's lost, walked away. So when it's dealing with you, your thoughts and your words, the way you're talking to yourself might not be the kindest, or you might need some support with seeing things from a different perspective. When you get the Five of Swords, 5, with the number 5 here, yeah, it's kind of all over the place. Once again, it's chaotic. It's not making much sense, and it's not helpful. When you're dealing with the 5 of Swords, when it regards to a relationship with someone else, they might be pulling a mind game on you. They might be manipulating you with their words via text, like face to face on the internet. They might be trying to charm you, trying to coax you. This might involve like some sort of love bombing in the beginning, whether it's platonic or romantic. They might be trying to size you up, but their intentions might not be pure. Their intentions might not be good. They're trying to get something from you. And I have gotten this card many a time with friends and romantic situations where it's like, this person's up to an agenda, and it was all the time the case. So the 5 of Swords is definitely a warning card. And it might be a card like I said before, when it comes to your relationship with yourself, calling in some sort of support, self-compassion, all of that stuff to kind of help support you in, getting out of that sense of self-defeat. And then when it comes to someone else, it's getting out of there. But when you see that number 5, not to say that the number 5 is bad, because there's no, I don't want to say it's like a polarity, like a all or nothing kind of situation. But in the tarot, usually the 5, it represents some sort of conflict. So this could be an internal conflict with your words, how you're talking to yourself, or an external conflict with somebody who might appear to be nice, but they're not. That's all I'll say about that. All right. And then next we get the 5 of Wands. The 5 of Wands. So sometimes this can be like luck if you buck kind of energy. It's like, little discrepancies here and there. Like, so at work, might be little disagreements about what action to take. If you're working on a collaborative project with people, it might be a whole bunch of people trying to lead and no one wanting to listen to each other. It's not like a big thing, because usually it will, like, if with conflict resolution and management, it should be able to diffuse and be resolved. But it can kind of like be annoying kind of energy, because you have the 5 there once again, where it's like everyone wants to do something new, everyone wants to like try something, but it's like nothing's being done because they're all being crossed and it's not flowing. Everyone's not kind of like bringing their own stick and bringing it to one collective circle. So yeah, it could also indicate sports too. Games and things like that, scrimmages, stuff like that. Like, these are youngsters playing around. So it could be that kind of energy, kind of tapping into your inner child and letting them play. In Jessica Doerr's book, Tarot for Change, she describes the 5 of Wands as like your internal family having a disagreement. So like your inner teenager, your inner child, and all of them are fighting about what to do next and where to go, what action to take. So it could be your internal family psychologically kind of having a disagreement. But yeah, it can get kind of like, oh God, it's usually resolvable, like I said before, but and maybe the intent was to have fun, but then it just wasn't fun anymore. So, when you see the 5 of Wands, it's like, okay, how can we solve this conflict in a way where everyone is heard and valued, and, kind of like opening the space up to listen. All right. The last card that we get into the 5s in tarot is the 5 of Cups. The Five of Cups. Ooh, as someone who deals with intense emotions, as someone who personally deals with depression, this card is like really near and dear to my heart. In terms of like when it comes up being like, okay, I need to like feel this. So the Five of Cups is all about grief, loss, sadness. This could be an event that happened in the past or that just happened, but it's like you're having difficulty moving forward from it emotionally. The five, you know, representing this like disoriented kind of energy once again, this chaotic energy, maybe some drama once again with this. Maybe it's like a long, drawn out romantic thing of going back and forth and feeling still getting hurt and doing more harm than good to each other. It's that kind of energy with the Five of Cups. And you see these 3 cups are spilled and the person is focused on the cups that are spilled. However, there are still 2 cups standing. And Jessica Dore, once again, kind of describes this as in cognitive distortion, as disqualifying the positive. And so in cognitive distortion, disqualifying the positive might be just not thinking about the good things that are there because you're so focused on the bad things. And that doesn't mean you just like bypass the bad things, but it also helps to acknowledge the things like how you're still standing. So when it comes to the Five of Cups, when it comes up for you emotionally or a relationship dynamic, you might ask yourself, what am I learning from this? How am I holding space for myself emotionally? What is one thing that's going well for me right now in the space of my sadness, in the space of my despair, in the space of my deep sorrow sometimes? What are some things that are going well that I can't, beat myself up to the ground? It's that kind of energy. So when you see the Five of Cups, it's time to kind of like find that sense of emotional support, care, deep care, and really like getting clear about what it is that's hurting you, what it is that is not supporting your growth, and what it is that is helping you cope with what's going on. So that concludes the fives in the tarot and numerology series. Do you have 5 in your chart? Do you resonate with the number 5, or do you have a special connection with the number 5? I'd love to hear about it, patrons. Feel free to leave a comment in the community Patreon comment section below, and I'll see y'all in the next one.